Look at the guys we arrest. Look at their mugshots and look at their eyes and tell me you don't see the devil inside. What are the numbers? 30 million people, adult women and children in slavery, labor, sex, organ harvesting, okay? 30% of those, roughly, are children in slave labor, sex slavery, or organ harvesting.
Fala pessoal, você vai assistir agora uma entrevista que eu fiz com o Tim Ballard, que é o principal nome no mundo quando se fala em resgate de crianças que foram vítimas de sequestros para exploração sexual, venda de órgãos e tudo mais. O Tim ficou famoso quando foi lançado o filme Sound of Freedom, Som da Liberdade, foi estrelado pelo Jim Caviezel, e agora ele está lançando um documentário chamado Guerra Oculta, que estará disponível na plataforma da BP a partir do dia 2 de dezembro. Antes de começar a entrevista, eu estava ali conversando com ele e mencionei que a Brasil Paralelo está produzindo o filme sobre o Dr. John Money, que estreia no ano que vem, 2026. É uma história que também é relacionada com crianças, essa questão toda é relacionada também à sexualização de crianças. Eu mostrei o trailer para ele naquele momento, ele teve uma reação ali muito espontânea naquela hora.
I can't believe you guys are doing this, man! Oh, this is brave. I'm so happy, I'm so proud of you guys.
Vocês vão começar assistindo essa reação dele ao trailer de John Money e depois aí sim vem a nossa conversa. Beleza? Espero que vocês gostem.
This is the trailer. Oh my gosh, dude, you guys are so brave.
The truth.
This is so gross.
The truth is, it's not always a good idea to tell the truth.
Did I tell you, when I was a child, I dreamed of having twins? I used to think I was too unlucky for this.
Oh my gosh.
But look.
I can't believe you guys are doing this, man! Oh,
According
This is
to the
brave.
urologist report, unfortunately, the damage is irreparable.
What do you mean, irreparable?
A couple from
Based on a
Winnipeg
lie?
was
Based
talking
on a
about their
lie.
son. The boy lost his penis during a circumcision, and he has a twin brother.
What is a man? What is a woman, and how do we come to define them? For millennia, both philosophy and theology have attempted to answer these questions.
you guys are so brave. You're gonna get so much hate for this, but it's the right thing to do. It's so controversial.
This medical center is opening a gender identity clinic for people who wish to change their sex.
There's a little thing the doctor needs to fix.
This is so
And
good.
you are the pioneer?
Maybe in a small way.
It's better for Bruce.
It's time to say goodbye to Bruce.
My baby. Mommy, are you okay?
And when we come back, we're gonna give you a new name.
What we come to define as masculine and feminine is constructed.
The names have been omitted. I'm telling you, as a child, he is conducting his experiment on a child.
Don't you want to be like the other girls?
I want to be me.
You can make up theories, say whatever you want. The truth doesn't change.
You keep trying to distort reality to try and make it fit.
If I were you, stop talking about my cases.
Dr. Diamond.
What are you gonna do?
Why don't you mind your own business?
But changing a person's sex, isn't that playing God?
Well, I would ask you, doesn't God play with us?
The world's leading expert saying the exact opposite of you.
Who's the expert?
Some guy named John Money.
Alejo, you won't believe this. So I wrote my book already called The Hidden War, The Battle Plan. Yeah. And it tells the story of, the Martin, it tells the story of of our film. Yeah. But it's not really about that. I interweave inside, I go deep into the cultural and political infiltration. Yes. It's like you got the surface, it's like the hidden war of the hidden war. Okay, and in it, I talk about John Money, who I didn't think many people knew about. I talk about this, yes, amongst other things. Wow. And these guys in Brasil Paralelo doing a movie on it. Great. So it's gonna leverage off Hidden War. Great. You see what I'm saying? It's gonna be.
We have to do
They'll support each other
together, yes.
They're so brave, man, because what John Money's story tells is that everything's a lie.
Yeah.
About transitioning children. and it's gonna.
And nobody talks about it.
And no one talks about it, but it proves it scientifically. It's a tragic story that needs to be told right now. Because the same thing's happening to everybody else is doing it, but they're hiding it. They're hiding the fact that suicide's going up, not down.
Yes.
It doesn't work. And this is like the base, the foundational story of it.
They did all based on science. Well, there's a big doctor.
Yeah.
He's from Harvard. And
He's going to prove scientifically that you can transition a child.
And he lied about it.
And he lied.
He said it was a success.
All it is, it's just an iteration, the original story that we've seen thousands of iterations later. And just go back to the story and realize, stop right now. It's not going to work. I can't believe you. I cannot believe anyone is doing this movie. Thank God.
And why do you think it's important to tell this story?
Because the war against children is not even what you see me doing. That's the surface. Okay, we were up the Amazon, we're rescuing children. That's the surface, right? That's what you can see. But there's a deeper war. Like I said, there's a hidden war, and the hidden war is already hidden. And that's surface still. There's another hidden war beneath that. And it's the infiltration of this evil ideology that is the fight against children that has infiltrated into our body politic, into our society, into our culture. In the end, it has the same effect of what you see us doing in the Amazon. It's the same effect. It's just slower, deeper, it's on drip, okay? But it ends in death, destruction, suicide. It ends in the victory of the devil. And so when I saw Hidden War, when it was done, I thought, this is just the Hidden War level 1. So I wrote a book called Hidden War, it's called Hidden War, the Battle Plan.
Wow.
And it's the hidden war beneath the hidden war. And now you got John Money, which is the hidden war beneath the hidden war. We're gonna keep going down until we find the devil at the bottom and rip him out. That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Me, you, and Brasil Paralelo, man. We're gonna save kids this way.
Cool.
That's what you're doing. You're saving kids with this movie.
Well, we hope so.
I'm so happy. I'm so proud of you guys. I'm so happy that you guys are making this movie. I can't believe you're making it.
Cool.
Frankly, not to compete against myself, but this movie is more important than even Hidden War.
Wow. Well, we have our best advertiser here already.
Yeah, I will do any advertising for you guys.
Cool.
Any.
That's
this is
very
so
cool.
important. I'm so happy right now.
We can talk about more about that.
Yeah.
later. Okay.
Forget about it.
Forget about Hidden War. Let's talk about John Money.
It's a pleasure for me to be here. Huge fan of Brasil Paralelo. You know, when I got, after Sound of Freedom came out, Hidden War was supposed to come out right away. It was done. But the enemies didn't want it to come out. I know who they are now. I didn't know who it was that was messing with Sound of Freedom. They tried to stop it. And then they saw this coming out and they said, no. And it's not the cartels that you think. They're connected to it. Not even the pedophiles. It's people, it's the lukewarms in churches, deep governments, okay? And so we got pounded. I got accused of being a pedophile, a rapist, a trafficker. My wife got accused of being a rapist. My wife, raping women. That's what they accused her of. Okay, this guy sitting over here, Matt Cooper, they came to him and said, sue Tim, you can't be, I was gonna be a senator. I was working with Trump. We had the Sound of Freedom Act coming out, okay? The bad guys, the lukewarmies inside these institutions didn't want this to come out. So they destroyed us. They went to Matt Cooper and they said, sue him so he can't become senator.
Wow.
And he's my best friend. He's been with all the operations. He knows it's all a lie. He says, I can't do that. He's 1 in a million. Him and my wife were the only ones that were, at the time. And you know what they did to him? Because he refused. The woman calls him, sue Tim. He says, no, they're friends. A week later, the woman sues him, Matt Cooper, for sexual assault. Okay. Now, why do I bring this up? Because of all the media in the whole world that was trying to help us rescue kids, only one media group stood for me. Only one media group in the whole world said, this is BS, and we stand by Tim Ballard. And it was Brasil Paralelo.
Wow.
I'll never forget that.
The only one?
The only one. Even my friends in the media joined the lies because they didn't want to get sued. You're going to get sued possibly, right? You got to be brave. So when I see John Money coming out by Brasil Paralelo, I'm thinking that takes some big cojones to do that.
Yeah.
But I realized they showed me already they got big cojones because they're the only group that stood up for me. That's why I'm here right now. That's why we're working with Brazil Paralelo.
Bom, deu para ver aí que o Tim gosta bastante da Brasil Paralelo, né? E se você está chegando aqui agora, não conhece muito bem o que é a BP, nós somos um streaming, nós trazemos documentários, filmes, sempre em busca dos bons valores, ideias e sentimentos no coração de todos os brasileiros. Então, se você está chegando aqui e não conhece muito bem, é uma chance de explorar todo o nosso conteúdo, não só aqui no canal do YouTube, mas também na nossa plataforma de assinantes. Aqui é só um pedacinho, sendo um membro da Brasil Paralelo, você tem acesso a muito mais coisa. Aproveite então esse lançamento de Guerra Oculta para se tornar um membro e explorar todo o universo da BP e entender por que o Tim Ballard gosta tanto da gente.
Well, Tim, as you said, it's a high price to pay to do what you do.
It's the cost of freedom.
Yes.
The cost of freedom.
You worked for 12 years as a special agent for the Department of Home Security.
Yes.
Good job, great benefits, peaceful retirement ahead. And then
I'd be retired already, right now.
one day you quit everything, you leave your wife and children at home, and you risk your life to save children you've never met.
Yes.
Why did you do that?
Oh, I did it. I didn't want to do it. I was a coward, okay? I'll be honest with you. In Sound of Freedom, you see the story play out. And you see a conversation with my wife and me. And she says, you quit your job and rescue those kids. And then Jim Caviezel goes running. My arms are bigger than his, by the way. Okay, that's the only part that I don't like about the movie. Just kidding. But what really happened is I said, I'm coming home. I got to lose my job if I stay here. And my wife said to me, Tim, if you leave your job, you won't rescue those kids. And how will you live with that? And I said, Catherine, we have 6 kids. We have 9 now, but at that time we had 6.
9?
I have 9 now. Two we rescued and adopted.
Great.
And then Catherine said, and I said, no, this is crazy. And she said, if you stay there, will you rescue kids? I said, yes, we'll rescue the kids on the island. And then she said, then you have to. And then she said, I will not let you jeopardize my salvation by not doing this. That's a direct quote because it was like, and then I said, if you feel that way, it's very spiritual. Yes, then I quit my job. So when I saw the script and Alejandro Monteverde wrote the script, he left that part out. I said, bro,
Most important.
it's the most important part of the movie. He said, Timoteo, he calls me Timoteo. Timoteo, he says, I tried, but you understand, I only have 2 hours and I don't have enough time in 2 hours to take a coward named Tim Ballard and turn him into a hero. There's not enough time to convince the audience, so I can't let them see how much of a coward you were in the beginning. That's what he told me. And I think he's right.
Okay. And then you choose a private initiative, right, to do this, the Operation Underground Railroad.
Yeah.
And why did you have to go private and not in the state apparatus to do this?
Because the government is awesome. The governments, we work with the governments. I wasn't trying to replace them, I was trying to support them. But if you understand, I can sum it up in 2 things. Red tape, deep state, okay? Red tape, deep state. Those 2 things are the death knell to child rescue operations, okay? The red tape alone, you have jurisdictional limitations. In Sound of Freedom, I didn't have the authority to be there. If you remember, my boss sent me to do a training because he was a good guy trying to do a good thing. But I didn't have the authority to stay there, the red tape. And then you got the deep state elements, which have only grown more and more, that are fighting the ideologies, the truth that you're trying to combat with John Money, right? So there's too much pressure in the government, and you can't move fast. These traffickers move fast. Watch Hidden War. They jump through borders and boundaries really quick. They take a kid, move the kid here. Now the kid's disappeared. I got to keep up with that. You can't keep up with that with the red state and deep
But
tape.
in the other side, you have more money from the state to do this. How do you finance these operations?
That's the key. That's why no one wants to do it. That was the contention point with my wife in Colombia. If I go on my own, I have to find my own money. That's crazy. So we decided that we had faith in people, that they would see what we're trying to do and that they would support us. And they have. They have supported us. We have been able to do the operations we want. Even after they tried to destroy my life 2 years ago, they couldn't beat God, okay? God found a way. God found a way. And now all those people that did that to us are either going to lose everything or go to jail through civil or criminal. Watch what happens in the next few months. So that's why I did it, right? Someone asked me, I was briefing Congress because I was in Syria a few weeks ago, okay? Infiltrating ISIS-controlled territories to go rescue children, okay? And Congress grabs me and like, what are you doing? You're crazy, but come help us now. So I'm briefing the US Congress. And this woman comes up to me, this congresswoman, beautiful Christian woman, and she's like, now who do you work for? Because she thinks, of course, I work for DOD, State Department.
Yeah.
And I said, I work for Jesus.
Wow.
And she laughed and I laughed and I said, but I do. Because with Jesus, there's no red tape, there's no deep state, and the retirement benefits are phenomenal.
Much better than
Much better
home
than
security.
anything you get here, so.
And you talk a lot about God, and you talk about a calling that you have. What does God represent in this mission and in your life?
He represents everything because I see this through spiritual eyes. Hidden war, you can say spiritual war, okay? Look at this guy, John Money. Look at these guys, what they're doing. You're demonic. Look at their eyes. Watch Hidden War. Look at the guys we arrest. Look at their mugshots and look at their eyes and tell me you don't see the devil inside, okay? Why is that? You understand that from a scriptural, spiritual level. The devil has wanted to sit in God's throne from day one. He can't. He wants to punch God. He can't. So he'll do what he can. The best thing you can do is punch the thing most in the image of God. What of all of us is most in the image of God? Children. That's why the devil inspires people like John Money or the Martine organization. You know, this guy, this nut job, Norbert de Jong, okay? He's one of the pedophiles you see go to jail. Well, he got out of jail, okay? The other guys are staying longer. This guy, Norbert de Jong, gets out of jail, okay? He doesn't learn his lesson. He makes a movie, a documentary called Adult Child Sex is Wonderful, okay? He puts it out. Then when Hidden War comes out, he starts sending threatening letters to all the theaters. Don't put this out, I'll sue you, blah, 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 blah. And so what did we do? We outed him. We said, hey, everybody, he wants to hide in the movie Hidden War, and we're not gonna let him. He was a peripheral pedophile in the film. Now he's the #1 pedophile without even having to change anything on the screen. No changes in the screen. We're gonna make him the most famous pedophile. And he went away, he crawled back in his little hole. Okay, so these guys are demons, okay? This guy is out of jail, Norbert de Jong. He is doing more damage to children than the other pedophiles who are touching them and making contact. Why? How many people, let me ask you, how many people did Adolf Hitler kill with his own hands?
6 million, they say?
With his own hands.
Oh, okay.
His own life, maybe, Eva Braun, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, with his own hands, none.
His ideas.
His ideas inspired millions to kill millions. That's what Norbert de Jong is in the fight against.
Why is he free?
Because we don't have laws. Holland and most of the world doesn't have laws that prevent the Adolf Hitler of pedophilia. And so he can inspire pedophiles with documentaries like Adult Child Sex is Wonderful, okay? That's what he is doing. I've seen the studies. Approximately 100 children can be abused in a lifetime of a pedophile. So every time this guy inspires a new pedophile, that's 100 kids. And he sits back free, like Adolf Hitler, doing what he wants to do and then trying to stop us. So we need to change the laws. We need to see the threat for what it is. Children can't talk, or they would tell you this. They'd say, stop that guy. He inspired this guy who's raping me. Children can't talk, they can't protest, they can't march, they can't draw graffiti on the ground. We have to do that for them. That's what Hidden War is doing. That's what John Money's doing. We are their voice.
And how big is this problem? Because many people say, oh, it's a conspiracy theory. It's not that problem. It's not that bad. And
it's enormous, okay?
You've been there, you know.
I've been there. They tried this on Sound of Freedom. They said, it's fake. It's all fiction. That's why we responded with Hidden War.
Yeah.
Okay, you think it's fake? We'll show you a movie that's just as crazy. The story is just as nuts as Sound of Freedom, maybe nuttier. Okay, we blow through 6 countries, 3 continents, from Ukraine to Latin America, right? But it's all real.
Yeah.
We didn't create anything, so we're trying to show it's real. What are the numbers? 30 million people, adult women and children in slavery, labor, sex, organ harvesting.
Wow.
Okay, 30% of those, that's millions, 30% of those, roughly, are children in slave labor, sex slavery, or organ harvesting.
10 million children in this situation. 10 million.
At least. Yeah, I mean, the numbers vary from the UN to the Labor Department, but it's between 7 and 10 million they estimate. I don't care if it's 1 million.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's 10, to be honest with you. I'd be just as loud. But it's millions. It's millions. And so long as these godless regimes and the lukewarms in the institutions keep fighting us, those kids are going to stay in sex slavery.
Pessoal, vocês estão ouvindo aí falar sobre Hidden War, né? Guerra Oculta, da maneira que a gente traduziu. Guerra Oculta é o documentário com as imagens reais das operações feitas pelo TIM. Então, se a gente teve em Som da Liberdade um filme contando uma dessas operações, ali com os atores, né, com dica visual e tudo mais, agora, em Guerra Oculta, nós temos as imagens documentadas de forma real durante essas operações. Então, você vai ver ali o TIM realmente fazendo os resgates, tudo aquilo que foi filmado da maneira como aconteceu de verdade. Para você entender bem, vou colocar aqui um teaser, um pequeno trecho do Guerra Oculta, e aí a gente volta para a conversa com o Tim Ballard.
I am attracted to boys up to 14 years old.
14?
Yes.
And the youngest?
Around 4 years old.
When you consider the fact that human trafficking is $150 billion a year business, the question people that think about it go to is, how are you getting that many kids?
You ready for the party tomorrow, bro?
Of course.
Tim Ballard has one mission: to track down child trafficking.
The crime that affects children as young as 5 years old. In terms of trafficking of Ukrainian women.
Really vulnerable to human trafficking.
It's a lot of children and women alone, afraid, without resources, so.
I told Tim, you need to go to Ukraine.
We're not politicians, we're not diplomats. We're just child rescuers. Hey guys, Tim Ballard here with Hidden War. You gotta watch this film. It's gonna open your eyes. It's gonna train you for how to rescue children. Big thanks to Brasil, Paralelo, for putting this out. Share this content, get it out. Help us rescue God's children, because God's children are not for sale.
And in one way, the film, Sound of Freedom, is good to reach more people. Right? It's a film, it's an easier way to.
Sure, people don't want to go to the
people.
theaters, watch it, but they think it's a documentary.
Yeah, but in the other hand, people can think, well, but that's a movie that maybe it's not that bad and everything. But then you have Hidden War, which are real stories you filmed there, and still some people don't believe.
Yeah.
What do you think is the role, for example, like legacy media, mainstream media, to make people don't believe, even with all this information?
They're behind it. They're in it. If there's 10 million children in slavery, what kind of demand, what kind of number of abusers is required to justify that demand? Think about it. These aren't just crazy people hiding in Ecuador, okay? These are politicians, these are doctors, these are educators, these are fathers. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. They're hiding in churches. They're being caught all the time, and then the churches cover it up and then try to hurt the people fighting it. There's a saying by my friend Dennis Prager, okay? And it applies to Brasil Paralelo now.
Yep.
Those who don't fight evil, fight those who fight evil, okay? So we're fighting legacy media. We're fighting pedophiles and we're fighting institutions, people that use the name of Jesus Christ. They use his name to destroy children. And they think they're going to be okay, that they'll just get a few stripes when they get, no. They're going to be in hell if they don't repent, okay? And so this is a multifaceted, multi-front war, okay? And everybody needs to fight it. So we need non-legacy media corporations like Brasil Paralelo. If we don't have that, we're going to lose this fight. So thank God for you guys, truly.
Wow, cool. And in Hidden War, you explained that wars and natural disasters, they dramatically increase the risk of trafficking people, children. is it possible to anticipate these scenarios and act before organized crime takes over?
Yes, yes. And you'll learn how to do that when you watch Hidden War, because that's what we did. That war broke out, and we went out there because
Ukraine,
the Ukraine war broke out. Russia attacked, and I know it's going to happen. I know the traffickers are going to come in. They're going to be wearing their scrubs, driving vans, acting like they're doctors, whatever. Humanitarians. It's harvest time. That's what they say. I've seen it on the dark net. Hey guys, a war's breaking out. Harvest time. Hey guys, there's an earthquake in Haiti. We talk about that. That's where I rescued my kids. It's harvest time. Oh, there's a hurricane in Southeast Asia. It's harvest time.
My God.
And they go, and all the news is reporting everything else but that. Oh, look at the tanks coming in, What about the kids being sucked into the darkest recesses of hell? And we're not talking about that. So we got to start talking about it, and we have to prevent. Yeah, it's preemptive, and we know how to do it. We got to teach the rest of the world how to do it.
Well, you have operated in many countries around the world, right? What do you think makes a nation more vulnerable to child trafficking? What kind of thing that all this country you have to pay attention because it can happen?
Lack of poverty, lack of God. I'm sorry. Poverty, lack of prosperity, lack of God. I know this. Well, you see it in Hidden War, right? At the end of the movie, people are going to be blown away when they see what happens at the end. It's not just a few kids, even dozens of kids being victimized. It's an entire village. It's an entire city called Kanoa, okay, that has been beat up. Why? Because same reason, what's harvest time? It was harvest time in Kanoa because in 2016, there was an earthquake, devastated the entire economy, families. You got kids with one parent, lost both parents, poverty, poverty, poverty. So the Dutch uncles show up. Oh, harvest time. Here's money, here's a PlayStation, here's candy, come to our hotel, okay? Kanoa is another example, another iteration of harvest time when it's vulnerable. So we stayed, and you'll see in the film, we stayed in Kanoa. We built, with Liga Pro, we built a soccer field. We're feeding them with aerial recovery. Okay, we're still there. We have to develop the place. We have to help it to become a prosperous place. Up in the Amazon, just a few months ago, we're up there rescuing kids. No God, no prosperity. They don't even have internet, okay? I'm telling you, I saw the most devastating thing I've seen in Brazil since I was in Kanoa. Probably 9 out of 10, and that's the statistics of those who know. Probably 9 out of 10 children are being raped up there. You go through those villages, you got 12-year-old girls, 13-year-old girls holding their 2-year-old babies. Not just some of them, 90% of them.
Wow.
Okay? No God, no prosperity. How to fix both of those things?
How do you see Brazil in this problem?
Brazil can fix it. They can fix it. Okay, you know what you do?
But compared to the rest of the world, how do you see is this situation in Brazil?
There's Kanoas and Amazons in every country. Brazil is just an enormous country, so you have more data points. Okay, so per capita, it's average with everybody else. Okay, it's just the amount is so great here, and the potential is so great here for fixing it. Brazil's the second largest Christian nation on the planet. Okay, there's a spiritual energy here that I have rarely seen in another country. So the people will rise up with God, and they will fix this. You need to, for the Amazon needs to have along the entire place. It needs to be laced with police stations. I saw kids that were being raped, and just to get a report made, they can't even make a phone call. They don't have internet, so they got to find a ride, drive 3 hours to the nearest law enforcement station and make a report. And then the cops are underfunded. So when are they going to find the time to drive 3 hours to do an investigation? You see what I'm saying? There's a problem. And then you add that, and then you got to lace, this is a private initiative, you got to lace that thing with churches. You got to backfill, take the darkness out, you got to backfill it with light, with God. God will protect these kids. He loves these kids more than anyone, and is more furious at the bad guys more than anyone. So you can do it. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. It just takes focus, education, politicians waking up, fight the right fight. You know what they're doing in Brasilia right now? Some of these leftist, godless folks are siding with the traffickers and rapists in the tribes because they're saying it's cultural. It's cultural. We can't touch that. It's sacred. It's cultural. They've been doing it for thousands of years. Yeah, you're right. They've been raping children, gang raping children for thousands of years. It doesn't make it right. It makes it more wrong.
Yes.
More reason to stop it right now.
Yes.
And so you have the right, conservative, God-fearing people saying, fighting back. Okay? So the people have to rise up.
Yeah.
And get the right people and educate them.
They spent millions of dollars a few weeks ago to talk about the environment on the Amazon farm.
I don't get it. Let's talk about that, but let's get the kids out of rape hell first.
Yes. Okay. And Tim, of all the operations you have done, which one marketed you most? Like personally, and why? What there is one specific that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the first operation we did as a private entity in February of 2014. We went to go look for the little boy, an American citizen named Gardy Marty. His story is featured in Hidden War, the little Haitian kid, okay? Because we're talking about harvest time and the earthquake and making comparisons to Ukraine. So his story is just shown there. We went down to find him. We've never stopped looking for him, and we will find him, okay? It's been 15 years. We will find him. Mark my words. We went down there. We missed him. He got passed on already, but we liberated all the other kids who he was with in a false orphanage where they were selling children out the back for slavery. These are little kids, 1 year old up to 12 years old. So we went in and rescued them and got the bad guys, went to jail, and then we went looking for Gardy. We rescued 500 plus kids looking for Gardy for 10 years, okay? But that first operation, we ended up rescuing 26 children, 28, okay? 2 of the children who I bought in the sting operation itself, my wife and I fell in love with them. They had no family. That's how they got here. So we adopted them. Those 2 children they're my children. I love them like I love any.
Is one of the 9? No.
2 of the 9. Brother and sister. They inspire me. You're gonna meet them in Hidden War. They inspire me because you'll see the little boy, Cole, my son. He'll be like, oh, they're talking about how dad always has to be gone. And Cole says, it's okay. You have to be gone because if you didn't leave the house, you wouldn't have found me.
Yeah.
So leave the house and go find more me out there. So that marked me the most for sure.
Yeah, with 6 children at that time, now you have 9 kids, with some dark stories like that. When you were there, were you thinking about your kids?
Always.
And how did you keep your mind, your mental sanity?
It's a good question because for 10 years, when I was in the government, I took therapy lessons for how to block the natural thing that happens to everybody. You see a little kid, 5 years old, getting raped in a video, like I have to see, your brain automatically superimposes your own children there.
Yeah.
Your grandchildren, your friends. And that is hell. I threw up the first time I saw this, and I saw my children. I ran to their school. I checked them out, crying. I'm hugging them. I took them home. My wife's like, what's going on? It's a mental anguish. So I learned how to block it, okay? Until that operation I just told you about. The first one in 2014, I went there, and there's 26 kids. And at that time, I'd never seen so many kids being sold. And I had 6 kids at the time, so I was like, I have an age for every kid.
Mm-hmm.
There's Sam, there's Luke, there's Della, there's, right? Blah, 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 blah. And God said, don't employ the tools of psychology. Let it happen. I remember I was standing outside the gate. Let them be your kids. Because if they're not your kids, whose kids are they? Let them be your kids. And what wouldn't you do for your own kid? So we pushed the envelope. We went further, deeper, braver, okay? And so much so that I believed so much that they were my kids, that at the end, what did I do? I adopted 2 of them.
You adopt.
I made them officially my kids.
Yeah.
And that's what everybody needs to do. Lose a little innocence, it hurts. But the pain that the children have is much worse than the pain of losing some innocence. Get in the fight, make the kids your kids, and watch the Lord work a miracle from that.
Cool. Well, you have talked about it just a little bit, but I want to go deeper. And you have faced resistance from governments or public agencies because this operation, like a private operation. How was that? How do they take your job more difficult to do?
Oh, well now I can speak happily about this because we're winning and we're going to win, but they tried to destroy me like they've done to Trump, like they've tried to do to your neighbor Malay, like they've tried to do here, okay? That's what they do, okay? when light comes in, the darkness has to fight it, especially if that light's public. And so after Sound of Freedom, they attacked me, starting with elements inside my own church. They excommunicated me on a lie. Can you imagine being brought in with your wife? They bring me and my wife in, and this man who worked evil, and he thinks he's fine. Wait till the day Jesus comes to him. It's going to be a day of hell. He calls me and says, you had sex with a woman. Who? I'm not going to tell you. Well, I didn't. I've had sex with one woman my whole life. Before, during, and after marriage, her. And she's crying. And he's pointing at her. Your husband had sex with who? 2 years later, he won't tell us who. Because she doesn't exist. Now, several women, part of this lawfare, $10 million went into this. Several women, including some of my own friends, pretended to be that woman. Okay? And guess what's happening to them? They're going to jail, or they will lose everything in civil or criminal act. And so I say, welcome, come on out. Who else wants to be this woman? She does exist, by the way. She's an angel from hell that exists and torments this man and these others. And 2 years later, he's on the pulpit still saying, I'm right. The girl doesn't exist, man. She's in your head, and she's going to force you into hell if you don't wake up out of your miserable state. This is the devil, okay? So we won, but it was hell. But you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way, because when you go into hell, there's only one way out. It took me about a year to get there. My wife helped me. Only one way out of hell. You got to grab onto Jesus' hand. And when you grab on his hand, he pulls you out, and you're out, he's still with you. Cool. He's above you, below you, beside you, behind you. And then he says, go to work. And that's what we're doing now.
Yeah. And you talk about American government, right? This is something that happens in the US. What about the other governments around the world? Do you have any example of, oh, this country, they helping me, or it's always a challenge?
The US, I'll tell you this, if Trump had lost, I'd probably be in jail. Okay. Wow.
Have you said that?
And he would be in jail too.
Have you said that before?
This is the first time in the interview, but I believe that. Trump would be in jail too. He asked me to run for senator. Okay, Kevin McCarthy in the US Congress is passing the Sound of Freedom Act, all in August 2023. If he had lost the election, he'd be in jail right now, and I'd probably be in jail right now.
He could be dead for inches.
He'd be,
Trump.
Oh yeah, well, God saved his life. I know
that changed everything.
That changed everything, okay? So the US government's on an upswing right now. It's on an upswing. The other governments, I didn't have that much resistance from, honestly, because I'll be honest, other countries aren't as woke.
When you come to Brazil and you do an operation like you did in the Amazon.
1,000% support. One of the best countries I've ever worked in.
Cool.
Because they're used to it. They see through it because it happened to them, right? So they see through it like spiritual warfare, like, get over here. I fly into Brasilia several months ago. We're testifying before Congress. We're helping them make new laws. You know, a few of the dark elements tried and they got blown back away. And then a few weeks later, we're in the Amazon with a hero. She's my boss in Brazil. She's a congresswoman who just lost her mandate on a fraud. Okay, and her name is Sylvia Waiape. She's a hero from the Amazon. She's my boss when I come here, okay? And she led us up there and we rescued all these children. Okay, so the government support of Brazil is something like I've never seen in my life. I've worked in 30 countries with lots of support. Nothing like this, because they're waiting for it. They're people of light. They want it, they need it. They know that it's redemptive to rescue children on a spiritual level. So I will buy a house in Brazil, maybe, because it's such a good fight to fight with such great people.
Nice. And if you could implement one realistic measure, right, to reduce this problem with child exploration, what would be? Is there something specific that this would be great to do?
Well, every country is different. For Brazil, I can tell you what it is, because it's the very thing I testified about, and Senator Safe, another hero of mine, is the one sponsoring this bill based on our conversations, and it's simply this. In Brazil, this might be surprising, it's illicit, it's illegal for the cops to do undercover operations. Online undercover is okay, but not in-person undercover. Well, you can't rescue kids unless you infiltrate the market. So digitally, they're doing a great job, actually, on the digital side. But you gotta also go mano a mano. You gotta go face to face with these guys to infiltrate. That's what we're experts at. And it's against the law currently, and it has been for decades, to use undercover operations. So we're going to fix it. And we're already working on a bill right now, sponsored by Senator Safe. And we're going to get that bill through, and it's going to change the game in Brazil.
You are a famous person right now, right? So how can you do this operation? You can't be anymore in the front line,
No.
right?
No, and I'm glad I got to the point where I realized that the safety of me, children, and my operators would be at risk if I continued doing undercover operations. Because honestly, I probably never would have stopped, and I probably would have just killed myself in the end. Like, it's too much. So I no longer do that, but I have teams that do that, and I'm still the guy in the van, outside in the van, listening in and helping to support the operators on the ground.
And do you think that these other operators, they have the same feeling like you did, like looking in the eyes of these children and feeling that they have a bigger mission there?
Yes. I can't work with anyone that hasn't done that. And frankly, I have a hard time working with anyone who hasn't been through the descent and then came out like I told you. Because if you haven't done that, you won't stay. You'll betray me. You'll betray the children. The first time you get threatened with a lawsuit, boo, you'll be out like the coward that you are. Okay? And so I really have a hard time working with anyone who hasn't been through a deep descent and had God pull them out. That's who I work with.
And did you have ups and downs? Like at any point you thought about giving up and okay, I quit, I can't do this anymore?
No. You would think so, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you see it, you have an obligation to God, and eternity is a long time. And so even in my lowest state, you'll see Sound of Freedom 2 is about the story of what happened in the last 2 years. In my lowest state, me and these two guys on the couch over here, okay, we said, to hell with it. We'll die if we have to. We kept going.
I'll win.
We kept going. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it, and eternity is a long time, and I'm going to meet my maker. Whatever happens, I will meet my maker someday and tell him I didn't give up. Maybe I failed, but I didn't give up.
In your view, what's the real nature of this fight between the good and evil? You were so close to this, like in your operations. What does it mean to you? Because today you have some relativism, like people, there's no 100% good or 100% evil. Everyone has his own reasons for doing something. What do you think about this?
I think there's truth to that statement. Even the bad guys, even the worst guys, I have to find the good in them so that I can survive and talk about. I have to make relationships. Sometimes I got to go undercover for months at a time. I'm sometimes staying at their houses for extended periods, right? So you have to find whatever good is left in them and use that as the way into their heart. And to be friends with them. Because I'm not going to be friends with them through our mutual desire to rape children, because that's the opposite of what I have.
Yeah.
So there's some truth to that. But, I look at their actions. What manifests? The good or the bad? Well, the guys I'm taking down, the bad is what manifests. So that's, you got to look at the actions. You don't need to justify, let Jesus justify their hearts. We go after the actions. The actions are god-awful, evil devil. So you fight those actions, hate the sin, love the sinner, right? So it's a spiritual war, like I said before. That's how I'd answer this question.
And being close to these guys, how do they justify what they do?
Oh, Hidden War tells you all about that in a way that will be shocking. Remember the documentary by Norbert de Jong? Child, Adult, Sex is Wonderful? The whole thing is answering that question. How do you justify it? Oh, I've heard everything. In ancient Greek and ancient Rome, they were doing it. It was beautiful. Oh, it's good for the child. Watch Hidden War, it'll make you throw up. It's good for the child. Children, talk about John Money and Alfred Kinsey. That's what they did. Okay, they inspired a group called NAMBLA, the North American Man-Boy Love Association. They exist to justify. And they say, well, children technically have orgasmic feelings. Of course, they're adults in embryo. There's going to be that biology. So they go and start. What did Alfred Kinsey and these guys did? They'd go and molest children and catalog what they perceive as orgasmic manifestations. Maybe that's true.
Science.
And then they say, boom, the kid, I think, had the orgasm. Therefore, orgasms are good because the science over here, for adults, there's health benefits to this. So they misapply it and say it's good for children. We are denying children a beautiful life because we won't allow them to engage in consensual sex with an adult, okay? That's how they justify it. And they're using it right now to legislate. That's what the group we took down was Martine Organization. They were a political party in Holland trying to change the laws based on these justifications.
And this is not new. Like in
That's
the
not
70s, you have Simone de Beauvoir, you have some French intellectuals that were saying the same thing.
They quote them. This argument is as old as the hills, okay? It's been going on since the days of Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay, the devil justifies. Hit the kids, justify it with science, a la John Money.
Yeah, and there is also a new trend that say it's a disease, so you should not treat it as a crime.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think about that?
It's horrifying, and I talk about that in my book as well, where the National Association for Psychology at one point classified it as a condition, and they tried to compare it to like a condition that is to normalize it. Like it's homosexuals. Look, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to become part of the gay community. They want LGBTQ MAP. MAP is minor attracted persons.
Wow.
So they're trying to normalize it, and you'll see in the film, Norbert de Jong and Nelson Matamon. Okay, they're trying to infiltrate the LGBTQ. They make a rainbow flag and put the child pedophile butterfly on it. So they're trying to infiltrate that, but the majority of that community says, hell no, you can't come in here. There's a great group called Gays Against Groomers, right? They're the gay people that are like, no, you're not us. We're adults. We're consenting adults. These are children, they can't consent. So there's a fight going on in there too. They're trying to legitimize everything and justify.
You have brands that also do this, put children
horrifying,
sexualized, like,
horrifying
positions,
horrifying.
And so besides the government and the law and everything, you have the culture where this battle is
yes. And if Trump had not won, I'm telling you, it could be the end of America, because Trump came in and said 2 genders. Boom! Like that was huge what he did, because all the states and the Kamala Biden administration, they were different. They were the opposite.
Sports as well, she said.
Sports, come on! Yeah. What is going on? Right? I mean, they become so pro, they become con. They're so pro rights of everybody that they're bashing women's rights, the thing they say they protect. How can you be a protector of women and let women compete with men? Their arguments fall apart. They're all based on lies, just like John Money, right? But until you educate the people with films like this and Hidden War, we're going to lose. But we're winning. There's been the pendulum swinging the other way because of people like Trump and Melee and others who are just like, no, I will tell the truth, even if you throw me in jail, toss me in the ocean, cut my arm off. I'm going to tell the truth, and that's what we need. People like that.
Cool.
Brasil Paralelo is in that group, and thank God for them.
Cool, thank you. And about the documentary about Hidden War, why people should watch it?
They should watch it because it's Sound of Freedom on steroids. It's Sound of Freedom. It's Sound of Freedom without the excuse that it's not real. Some good people don't want it to be real. They come out and someone says it's not real. Okay, good. I don't have to superimpose my kid's face on the screen anymore. It's okay. You can't do that this time. Our response to the critics in Sound of Freedom was Hidden War. We're going to show you the same story. Even better, covers the whole world.
Don't you think it's hard to bring people to watch this kind of thing, because it's terrible, terrible stories?
I used to think that when Eduardo Verástegui came to me and said, 2016 or something, I said, don't make this movie. No one's gonna come. I can't get my family to listen to me. I can't get my neighbors to listen to these stories. No one's gonna come to this movie. I told them the whole time, don't blame me. I told you not to do it. No one's gonna show up. And 100 million people showed up. Why? And so that's how I got my answer to your question. No, because the people are good. God is doing a work amongst the children of men right now. He is touching the pure, and they're coming up and they're asking questions and they're ready to fight in the spirit of Charlie Kirk. They're ready to fight for truth and fight for children. So I say people will show up. You watch Hidden War. It might have a slow beginning because they got to get over that hurdle and God's got to do some work on them. You watch what happens. It's going to have more longevity. Mark my words, I'm going to prophesy. Hidden War is going to have more longevity and more viewers by the end of its run than Sound of Freedom.
Cool. Well, some people say the same about John Money. Don't do this movie. People, it's a very
Of
dark
course they're going to say
story.
that. It'll do the same thing. It'll have a rough start, but the rough is good, by the way, because I learned this. The rough means controversy. Controversy gets curiosity.
Yeah.
John Money will have a slow start too, and then it'll go with Hidden War. You watch, mark my words.
Okay.
Because the people are good. The
Yeah.
people are good, and God's making them more good.
And they want the truth.
They want the truth.
Nothing is more powerful than
They want the truth.
Right.
People are tired of being lied to.
Yeah.
They've been lied to. They caught the liars. They're tired. They want truth. They want God. And you watch what's going to happen. The whole world's going to change soon.
Mm-hmm. And how do you think? You do think is the importance of internet for this? Like, if you depend on mainstream media, these stories wouldn't be.
No, it's
there.
thank God for alternative media. Truly.
And then the importance of free speech as well.
Free speech, and that's why they're trying to hit free speech everywhere. That's every country is doing that, right? When people start censoring, and I'll say this to the churches who are doing that, including people in my own church right now, are trying to censor me. No good regime in the history of the world, no good organization, no good institution in the history of the world ever began their campaign with censorship. That's how the Nazis became Nazis. That's how the Stalinists became Stalinists. That's how the Maoists became Maoists. They start with censorship. So any group that starts with censorship, we already know where you're going. Don't support them.
Yeah.
But that's what's going on. We got to fight that too.
Cool. And Tim, what's next? What do you want to achieve? What's our goal?
Hidden War is the greatest tool the world's ever seen to fight child trafficking, okay? But the movement begins after the movie. Okay, the movement begins after the movie. We'll be standing by physically or literally or figuratively when this thing's over and people come out with changed hearts, changed minds, opened eyes. We are going to be there to say, here's what we do next. Here's the laws you need. Here's the resources you need to rescue efforts, to law enforcement, to aftercare centers. Here's the education you need. Here's the international cooperation agreements you need. So we're standing by, ready to go. We have teams throughout the whole world waiting for people to get converted, and then they're going to join our armies. And then we're going to take it and keep fighting this fight until we win it.
How do you think regular people can help in this fight?
Well, listen, I want people to go to the theaters with this in mind. You're going to see operators playing the role of police, playing the role of military, going undercover with wigs and tattoos, okay? And I want parents, aunts, uncles, grandparents to say to themselves, I'm going to be an operator like these guys, okay? Not in the same sense. I'm going to be an operator in my home. Sometimes that means undercover work on your kids' phones because that's the portal that they're being recruited from, okay? So I want people to go and see this as a training, not just to come and, we always ask for prayers and donations, okay? But no, who's the front line of defense? It's not me. I wish I could be. It's not even the cops. I wish they could be. The front line of defense for our children is mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, teachers, neighbors. So train yourselves to be undercover operators and operators of every kind. Okay, if you got to be police this day, military, undercover this day, educator this day, families are going to protect their children, but they need to learn how to be undercover operators. So the lessons are applicable. What you see us do, you can do in your home. Come get trained to be an operator to help you.
And how can you be trained?
Watch the movie.
Watch the movie?
And say, oh, they did that here. I can do this in my home. Think like that. Me and my wife run our house as a mass undercover operation on our children. Okay? I have to. You should see the stuff I've done before. I've done some crazy stuff. I'm not even going to tell you what I've done to protect my children from infiltrators who are trying to get them.
And are other operators like your company doing that? Do you have competitors doing the same
Yes.
job?
Oh, are there other people doing what we do?
Yes.
There's some. I want to see more. The problem they have, you'll see in Hidden War that we move fast. We identify the two bad guys hiding in Ecuador from the bad guy we take down in Mexico. I pick up the phone, I call the Ecuador National Police. They're on the ground at the sex hotel the same day I call them. Why do I have that? Because I've been doing this for so long. And they're my friends. Other organizations have as good as skills or better than I have, but they don't have the relationship. So what we want to do is create agreements, MOUs, we need to create a system of international cooperation where private entities, NGOs, can make agreements with governments so that they're already in agreement, so that when they take down their guy in Mexico, they can call Ecuador and they'll be like, oh, they're on the agreement, let's go. But things aren't set up for that, to progress and move as fast as we can, only because we have lots of experience. But we need more teams like ours, independent, private organizations. It's called the private-public model, and I think we've damn near perfected it. It's the only way to get this done. If I was working for the U.S. government or any government, I could not have led a team across 6 continents, 6 countries, 3 continents, and dismantled an entire international trafficking network in 4 months. Impossible. But I could do it because we can move rapidly. No red tape, no deep state. We move when God tells us to move, not when some bureaucrat and his 10 bosses tell me I can move. But when I get to each country, you'll watch us do it in Hidden War. We deliver up the product. We deliver up the case on a silver platter. We deliver up the case on a boom, 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 boom. Because they can do things we can't do. I don't have a prosecutor's office in my pocket. I don't have laws or a badge in my pocket. I don't have that. So I do what we do best. They do what they do best. And boom, it's the magic formula. The private-public model. That's what we need to implement. And Hidden War proves that that's what we need to implement and shows you how to do it.
And you talked about the lack of prosperity. Poverty is the problem.
Poverty is the problem.
And the lack of religion, like Jesus.
Lack of religion. We need prosperity and Jesus. Those are the pillars of prevention. Oh, I just named that. The pillars of prevention. Write it down, get it trademarked. The pillars of prevention, Jesus and prosperity. Truly, those 2 things will stop child trafficking.
And explain to the public why just money is enough to solve the problem.
Because the bad guys deal in money. You think trafficking's not happening on Epstein Island? Okay, the money guys have it too. What Epstein Island doesn't have, this will be a big surprise to you, they didn't have Jesus there, okay? The island in Sound of Freedom didn't have Jesus there. Okay, so we need both of those things, okay? You need to have prosperity because that's the vulnerability point. If you're impoverished, you have harvest time, okay? Now you get them prosperous, that's great, but with money you can do good or bad. So Jesus comes in, God comes in and says, let me tell you how to spend this money to protect your children and not go nutty and crazy about this, right? So both pillars of the pillars of prevention. I keep saying it because I got to get it stick. I just made it up right here.
Well, your enemy is very powerful.
Yes.
And don't you fear for death, for life?
No, not anymore. I used to. But when I went through the hell they put me through, I wanted to die. I truly wanted to die. I had serious suicidal ideations because I thought my life was over. How do I get around this? Lawfare is worked in a way that you never recover. It's all fake, but they just create headlines. I mean, there's a headline that my wife is accused of, my wife, the most pure woman I've ever met in my life, sued for sexual assault, okay? But if you read the body of the complaint, it says nothing to prove that. But they know no one cares. You got your headline. Fake news is killing Wikipedia. Anyone can go in and make it. I can go make a Wikipedia page right now and say that you rape dogs. And there's nothing you can do about it, frankly. It'd be really hard. So that's what lawfare is. They stack it up so high that it's like, even if you're innocent, good luck. So I get out of that, but you want to die because you think you're going to, but like I said, when you want to die because you see that world is better, an interesting thing happens. When you get out of it and you're happy, guess what? You still think that world's better. You learned that world is still better.
Yeah.
So if I have to die on this hill, I'll happily fight this as an angel. I know it's real. And so I'm at peace. C.S. Lewis, I got to say, C.S. Lewis said, die before you die. Because if not, it'll be too late. Beautiful, truth.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Was there a situation that you really was at risk in an operation? Say, oh my God, I almost died here.
Yeah.
Can you describe for us?
Oh, I mean, it happens all the time. You see, in Ukraine, we had a Russian missile strike within a mile of where we were. We're avoiding landmines. I could die any second. We drive into Chernihiv. You'll see this in the movie. There's these kids we got to rescue, and on the day we're driving in there, it's Easter. It's Good Friday, okay? And we're driving in, And the Moscow, it's the name of the flagship of the fleet, of the Russian fleet in the sea, in the Caspian Sea. The Ukrainians sink it, right? So the Russians are going to retaliate and hit the town that's closest to the missile site. Okay, that town was Chernihiv. It had just been leveled 8 days earlier. That's why we're going there, and they're going to level it again, and we got to make a decision. And we're like, boom, let's go. Any minute, a moving bus. I don't care. I don't. Yeah. I just say to myself, I'll fight this as an angel, and I'll have Michael with me, and we'll fight better, you know? So I don't fear death. I don't fear man. I don't fear death or man at all anymore. I only fear Jesus, but it's a healthy fear.
And it looks for me that this virtue, the courage, it's something very rare, it's not common to find today. You have some examples?
Yeah, courage is a rare commodity. When I got hit with my lawfare, less than 1%, I did the math, less than 1% of my friends came to me, came to help me, because they were selfish and worried about themselves. Because if they came to help me, they'd get sued, like Matt Cooper did, like my wife did. Anyone who came to help me got sued. So 99.9, even people on the media, I won't name names yet, who were my best friends, who claimed to have courage. They claimed, I'll be the first to stand up. They were the last. They joined in on the persecution, okay? People are scared.
Yeah.
But there's a quote that's important.
You don't speak up.
Fear of man, a coward makes. Fear of God, a hero makes. So we're at 1% hero ship right now. So we have to get that number up to at least 5%. Because it's really low right now.
Yeah.
But not here in Brazil, because they've been through it. That's what I'm telling you, not in Poland, because they've been through it. Why is Poland standing up right now for truth? Because they remember what happened to them in the 50s and 60s and 70s, okay? And they won. I'm telling you, you got to go through the descent and come out of it, and then you become a hero because you fear God, not man.
And then you don't care about what
you don't care anymore.
Yeah.
You don't care. It's the most freeing thing. I don't care. I don't care. Tell me I'm a pedophile. Tell me I'm a trafficker. I don't care. My wife loves me, my kids love me, and God loves me, and that's all I need. And these two clowns on the couch love me too.
You could be retired at this point.
I would be retired, yeah.
Do you think about retirement?
Oh, it makes me want to throw up. Truly, what would I do? I would sit there and just stress out about how I'm not doing what God wants me to do. I'm not going to retire.
Cool.
I'll die first.
Cool. Well, team, what advice would you give to people pay attention to their children, their kids, if there are any risk around them?
Yeah, the best advice, there's so many things. There's so many things I could get into right now. I'll say the first thing is obvious. Cell phones, okay? 80% of the kids who disappear, every 20 seconds, a child in Latin America disappears. Okay? You don't hear about it in the news because no one wants to talk about it and the families don't have a voice. They're silently suffering. 80% of those cases start on the cell phone because parents don't know the apps. That's what I'm talking about. Train yourselves to be an operator. Your kids have apps. You think they're playing Atari because that's what we played against the computer? Boom, boom, boom. No, they're playing against Uncle Skippy, who's pretending to be a 12-year-old girl, but it's actually a 60-year-old pedophile. The parents don't know that. And their little kids are playing games. Oh, yeah, I remember when I played games. No, you might as well put them in a strip club because that's where they are right now, even though they're sitting right next to you. So that's number one. Now, number 2 through 100, I'm not going to tell you right now because you won't remember. Go see Hidden War first. I need your hearts converted, your hearts softened, your eyes opened, your brains turned on. Then I'll tell you the other 2 through 100. But get converted first or it's not going to last. That's my answer.
Okay. Tim, thank you very much. That was amazing. So let's everybody watch Hidden War.
Thank you, brother. And John Money. And John Money, guys. It's better than Hidden War. I don't mean to compete against myself, but I got to be honest.
Bom, pessoal, espero que vocês tenham gostado. Se você chegou até aqui, é porque você entende a importância desse tema. Infelizmente, é um problema que também acontece muito no Brasil, como ficou claro aqui durante a conversa. E para entender como isso acontece, como essas pessoas atuam e o que fazer para combater esse problema, nada melhor do que assistir Guerra Oculta, que é um conteúdo exclusivo para membros da Brasil Paralelo. Então fica aqui um convite para você ver o Tim Ballard em ação, né, nas cenas reais das operações dele, no Guerra Oculta, a partir do dia 2 de dezembro. O link na descrição para você fazer a assinatura está aqui disponível, tem também o QR Code na tela. Aproveite para se tornar membro da BP e assistir a esse e muitos outros conteúdos exclusivos que nós temos na nossa plataforma de streaming.
I am attracted to boys up to 14 years old.
14?
Yes.
And the youngest?
Around 4 years old.
When you consider the fact that human trafficking is $150 billion a year business, the question people to think about it go to is, how are you getting that many kids?
You ready for the party tomorrow, bro?
Of course.
Tim Ballard has one mission: to track down child
The
traffickers.
crime that affects children as young as 5 years old in terms of trafficking of Ukrainian women and
Really
children.
vulnerable to human trafficking.
It's a lot of children and women alone, afraid, without resources, so.
I told Tim, you need to go to Ukraine.
We're not politicians, we're not diplomats. We're just child rescuers.
Hey guys, Tim Ballard here with Hidden War. You gotta watch this film. It's gonna open your eyes. It's gonna train you for how to rescue children. Big thanks to Brasil, Paralelo, for putting this out. Share this content, get it out. Help us rescue God's children because God's children are not for sale.